Hey guys, coming with another movie review, guys, and this movie reviewing, I was very worried about this movie. Not just because it was a January movie, it was supposed to come out in December and pushed back to January, but also because the fact that, I really did not look that great from the trailer, and I was worried about it, but it's a movie that I have been really looking forward to, and that movie is Kung Fu Panda 3. Guys, I have been looking forward to Kung Fu Panda 3 ever since the post-credit scene in Kung Fu Panda 2. I love Kung Fu Panda 2. I have seen both the Kung Fu Panda movies. I think both of them are really great movies, especially the second one, which was, I think, like I said, I've said before, a lot more deeper than the first one. I love Kung Fu Panda 2. I wanted to rewatch both of them, and I just didn't get the chance to, but I was really worried about this movie because the trailers really did not make it look all that great. It looked very forced, it looked very unnecessary, and looked very convoluted, and I was worried that this movie really wasn't going to give us the necessary build-up that we needed. It just wasn't going to be that great, and I have to say that not only did Kung Fu Panda 3 extremely surprise me, but I think is honestly just as great as the second one. Now, there are some things that don't work as well in this movie, and there are a few flaws that I have, but especially for a January movie, this is much better than January movie. I honestly think this could be nominated for next year's Oscars. I could honestly see that happening because this really is a fantastic sequel, and honestly, I think a great ending to the series. I'll get into that as well. But let's get to the plot of this movie, because the plot of this movie I really do love. Basically, the plot of this movie is that Master Shifu is going to be retiring. He doesn't going to be the, he's not going to be, he's not going to be the teacher anymore, and he wants Po to be the teacher to the Furious Five, but it doesn't end up going very well, because Po just isn't very good at it. He doesn't really know what it means, and Po's very confused. He knows he's the Dragon Warrior, but he doesn't really know what this means, and one day, basically, he ends up meeting up with his father, Li Shan, who, of course, we knew at the end of the second movie has been looking for his son, and Po thought that his father was dead this whole time. And not only does he meet up his father tells him that there is this panda village, basically, that he's going to go to, and he's going to try to train these pandas to take down Kai, this new villain Kai, who is like the ultimate spirit warrior, and he basically, is the ultimate spirit warrior that everyone else is, afraid of and everything. He's very powerful and things like that, and Po has to team up with Li Shan and his new, Panda friends to basically take down Kai, and that basically is the plot of Kung Fu Panda 3, and I really do love the plot of this movie. There's a lot more to this movie than just that. There are a lot of things that I think this movie does very, very well. I was very surprised about. First of all, no surprise here, the acting is great. I mean, Jack Black at this point, he is Po. He really has. He's gotten into this character. He knows what to do as Po, and he just does just that. But what I really like about Po in this movie is I feel like Po goes through a much more coming of age journey. Not so like he did in the first movie, of course, because he didn't really know kung fu and things like that. He was kind of an idiot. But here, even more so, because he knows he's this, supposed to be the Dragon Warrior, and he's supposed to be this teacher, but he doesn't really know what makes him so great. And of course, he knows Kung Fu and things like that, but he really is questioning himself, and I really like seeing that. And he also has this whole thing to deal with Li Shan being back in his life, and I think he really did that very well. Of course, he was very funny, but I also really like the emotion put in this character. You really felt like he was a leader in this movie. And not that you did in the first two, I think he definitely was, but Master Shifu has always been around, and this one we know is retiring, and knowing he's passing that role on to Po really has to step up and be more of a leader, and I definitely really like seeing that. I think he did a very good job, and obviously, I mean, Jack Black just kills in this movie. He really does a great job with this character, and that's why he's still playing this character after 3 movies. But I have to say, Bryan Cranston was incredible in this movie as Li Shan. I knew he'd be great because it's Bryan Cranston. I mean, I've never seen Bryan Cranston give a bad performance, really, but he really did a great job in this character. I mean, you can tell that this is someone that has been searching for their son. They're kind of lost without their son, and we get some really great emotional scenes between these two, because obviously there's a lot that Li Shan missed out on, and while they're trying to act like father and son, it obviously is very difficult because he's just kind of come up out of nowhere, and we find out some really great scenes, particularly a scene involving when we find out what happened to Poe's mother and this memory that Li Shan talks about. A very good scene, and I think Jack Black and Bryan Cranston had very good chemistry, and I definitely really love the scenes between those two. They did a great job with that. Dustin Hoffman, of course, is really good as Master Shifu. Doesn't have a ton of stuff to do in this movie, but you can definitely tell that he's getting older. He's passing on the role to Po, and that's basically the role he plays in this movie, and for that, I thought he did a good job. I overall thought he was really good here. Angelina Jolie, of course, was really good. My real thing is that some of the characters that we've come to love are a bit underused here, like Tigress and Viper are very underused. Monkey especially is underused. I don't even remember Monkey having really a line. Mantis is there, Crane, all of them. Um, they're kind of unused as well. James Hong as Mr. Ping, I really felt had a lot more to do here because obviously now that Li Shan's come into his life, Mr. Ping's kind of jealous. He really wants to be the real father, the Poe, and Poe has to have two fathers now. And I really like what they did with him. I thought they set up this really interesting conflict between Mr. Ping and Li Shan, and I thought the way that they portrayed it, I really enjoyed. I thought they both worked really good together. I mean, really, I really enjoy what they did there. And I've liked Mr. Ping in the past, and Mr. Ping's always been kind of comic relief, been the guy in Poe's life, and you see that he really feels bad that he never told Poe that he was adopted until now and things like that. Just some really great scenes. I think they did some really great stuff with this character, and I really like what they did with him. My main issue with this movie, though, are that some of the new characters, I didn't really feel we really got to meet very well. Like, Kate Hudson's character, Mai Mai, really had nothing to do in this movie. I mean, she was there, but I don't really remember her having anything to do. I don't remember her character. I don't remember what she had to do here. I just don't really remember her at all. And then the other pandas that he met, I really didn't care about their characters very much. I don't really feel we got as much with their characters. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, because we want to see the interaction between Poe and Li Shan. Obviously, those are the two we want to see the most of, but we're supposed to be in Panda Village where we meet all these other pandas, and I don't really think we knew their characters, but we didn't really go anywhere with them. But it's a kid's movie. There's not really much you can do with it. And let's talk about the villain as well. J.K. Simmons as Kai. I think he's a really good villain. The only reason I was a bit let down by him is because of how good the villain was in Kung Fu Panda 2. I mean, if you guys remember, that villain was scary, he was really funny, but he was also very intimidating, especially for a kid's movie. I think they did a very good job with that villain. I can't remember his name right now, but the peacock, that villain, I mean, remember how scary he was? This one's really good too. I think Kai's really good, mainly because it's J.K. Simmons. He just does a very good job here. I liked his character. I like that no one really understands how powerful he was. There was a fun joke with him that they did that I thought was really funny. But for the most part, I thought he did a good job with his role. The only reason, like I said, it's just a bit disappointing because the other villain was so good from the last movie. I thought he really did a good job here. And I thought everyone overall was really good, definitely. Even the ones, like I said, that were underused, they still did a good job. It's just they didn't really have a lot to do here. The directing here, I mean, it's great. It really is. I think by now they know what makes Kung Fu Panda movies so great. But I think they also really showed why this movie was necessary. The tone of this movie is a little bit different from the first two movies. Like, the first two movies are definitely more comedies, and this one I'd say is probably more of a dramedy, honestly. There's fun moments here and there, but it definitely is more of a dramedy. And the second one especially, I think, is very dramatic, but this one, too, definitely goes in that direction, and I really like that, and I like the way the directing is done here. I mean, there are moments for kids, and there are moments for adults, and that's really the best anime movies you can make. You know, they have something really for everyone. I think this movie really does that as well, especially because of the script. The script is really good here. I mean, I was very surprised by how good the script was, especially when you have the third movie. Usually that's really cutting it close. I mean, third movie, it's usually like, all right, you can stop now. We've seen all you need to do with these characters. We don't really need this third movie. But the writing here was really, really good. I mean, I really like the writing. Like I said, there's a very good emotional conflict between Poe and Li Shan, which I definitely really did enjoy. I thought they worked very well together. There's some very good emotional scenes there, but also some very fun scenes of just seeing Poe training. I mean, again, he's basically told by Master Shifu that he's going to be this trainer, and it wasn't really something he was expecting to do. So naturally, like, we could see, he's not really that great at it, and I like that they really explored that conflict. I thought that was handled very, very well, and I really enjoyed seeing Poe trying to train all these pandas. I thought they handled that plot very well as well. I definitely really did enjoy that. At some points, I will say, there is a subplot with the Furious Five trying to take on Kai, and it doesn't really work as well, just because Poe's not there, and I don't really know if the Furious Five, they work well together, definitely, but you kind of need Poe in there, and I don't really think putting them to the side was the best thing to do, and I don't really think we got enough of them, but it's fine, because we've seen these characters already. We know how they are. We've seen them. We don't really need to see them as much in this movie, okay? They've been featured in the other two movies. I was fine that they weren't really in this movie as much. I really didn't have too much of a problem with that, I have to say. I mean, normally I would, but here, since they've been used so much and we have seen them in the other movies, I didn't really have a problem with them, not being in this one as much. I really no problem with that. I also have to say the climax of this movie is great. I absolutely love the climax. I mean, it was action packed. There's a lot more action in this movie, definitely. I'm sure there were in the first two, but here it really felt like there was more of it, and I definitely really love that. And I also like seeing that while Li Shan is this, very respected panda, obviously, and finding out what was going on there, he also isn't as experienced as Poe, and getting Poe to introduce him to things I thought was definitely very interesting. I really loved seeing that. And I really liked the way this movie ended. I thought that was definitely really great. And I have to say, guys, that if this is the last movie, also, I forgot to talk about the animation. The animation, I think, is the best of the series. I mean, the locations in this movie are just incredible. The way that they made this, animation, you can tell they took their time with it. It makes sense why the movie took so long to come out, because they really took their time to make this as great as it is. It really looks fantastic. I mean, it is breathtaking. It really is. The sets, Panda Village in general, I mean, it really looks incredible. I think the animation was fantastic here. Not that it wasn't great in the first two, but here especially, I really feel that it's the best of the franchise. I absolutely loved the animation. And now the movie's not, but the animation out of the three, definitely the best animation of the franchise. I also really like the score in this movie. They really took note of the score. Of course, there's really good kung fu, but especially with Kai, they had this really great theme, which kind of sound like "I'm So Sorry" by Imagine Dragons. If you know the da 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 da, that's basically Kai's score. It's da 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 da. I kept waiting for like Imagine Dragons to start singing "I'm So Sorry" because it sounds just like that. And I don't know if that was the intent, but that's what it sounds like. Okay, listen to "I'm So Sorry," then listen to Kai's score. It sounds exactly the same. It's an awesome score. I'm not gonna lie. It just sounds like "I'm So Sorry" by Imagine Dragons, and I kept expecting Imagine Dragons to like make a cameo in this movie every time Kai came on screen because his score sounded so much like that. So, okay, enough of that. But the editing here I thought was perfect. It was very, very well paced. I was into it the whole time. It's also the shortest of the franchise. I mean, I think the movie is only like an hour and 18 minutes without any without any credits. So I was very impressed by that. I thought the movie really went by very fast, and it never dragged on. I didn't really think there was any filler in this movie. There was nothing that was that boring. The beginning I thought was a bit like I've seen this before. Like in the very beginning when they're trying to take on this one enemy, I thought it was kind of just okay. But once the actual plot was introduced, I really got into the story. I thought this was really interesting. What we were going into was very psychological as well. Like I said, this movie really gets into Poe's head. I think all three of them have, but especially this one. This one really got into Poe's head. I definitely really like seeing that. And I thought overall the movie was really, really great. So overall, guys, I really did enjoy Kung Fu Panda 3. And I have to say, if this is the last movie, very good way to end the series. I think they have this really great ending towards the end. I don't know what else they can do, really. I know they want to make like another one, but I really don't know what else they could do. If they were to do another movie, what else can they do? I have no idea what they would be able to do, because I feel like this is it. I feel like this is where you go with it. The way the movie ends, it just feels perfect to end it at number 3. Don't pull a Toy Story and do Toy Story 3, say it's gonna be the last one, and then do Toy Story 4. There are reasons why franchises need to end. This is one that I feel needs to end. Keep it, end it while it's still great, okay? Keep it that way, definitely. That's what I say, and I think this is probably the best way to end the series. You don't need a fourth one. I know they want to make it, but at this point, just be a cash grab if they did that. DreamWorks as well, I really feel needs to stick to movies like this. I mean, last year we had Home, which was absolute, not shit, but it just wasn't very good, and it was very much for kids. Well, this is very much what DreamWorks needs to be doing. They need to be doing movies that are for kids and for adults, because that's when their movies succeed the best. And because of that, guys, I am going to give Kung Fu Panda 3, surprisingly, a 4.5 out of 5 or an A. I honestly really didn't have many problems with this movie, besides those 2 complaints that I had. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I might change it to an A- further down the road, but overall, guys, right now an A. That's where I stand with this. I really did love this movie. I will definitely be checking it out again. I definitely recommend you guys check it out, because when there's not much good out right now, definitely a movie like Kung Fu Panda 3 3. It's very refreshing to see in January, definitely. And it's the first, it really, I think, is the first great movie of 2016 because of the fact that, you know, even though I saw Deadpool and Hail Caesar, this came out before those, so that's why I'm saying that. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys thought of Kung Fu Panda 3. What is your favorite in this series? Love to hear your thoughts on that. And we'll see you guys next year, which review for a movie review or for the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.